Hi guys, so today we're having a look at the I Heart Revolution Peach Delight Mattifying Primer with vitamin C and E, and just for the sake of it, I decided I was going to have a kind of face-off against the just Revolution Mattifying Matte and Fix Primer. So both of these cost £6. The normal Revolution one in the black tube has 28ml and the peach one has 27ml. So tiny little price difference, but they are both mattifying primers. So I'm going to apologise in advance for this video because I've been filming this in 3 goes because I sat down to edit this last night and realised that I hadn't filmed an intro, and I have such a clear memory of filming it, but apparently didn't happen, or I didn't hit record. So I've got an application section here, so let's see how that goes. Right, so let's get started. So I'm going to do half and half just because I'm interested. So I've got the Mattify Matte and Fix Primer from Revolution and the Peach Delight Mattifying Primer from I Heart Revolution. So yeah, interesting. So this guy I'm going to give a bit of a shake because every so often with this one I pick it up and it's kind of separated because I've been using the e.l.f. primer for a while now. So I'm going to give this a good squidge. Let's have the peach on the right because it's the one we're reviewing, and the other one we'll just put on the left. So the peach one, quite a light scent, which I guess is probably a good thing because you're putting it in direct contact with your skin. Texture wise, we've got a kind of jelly texture, slightly cloudy, which is pretty similar to this guy, which I'll show you in a minute. So just kind of smoothing this on. It feels a little thicker than the one in the black tube if you've tried that. It's been a while since I used the Smashbox primer, but it's maybe a little bit thinner than that. But it definitely feels very silicone-y. Feels like it's going to be good. So we'll see, we'll see. Yeah, that feels really nice. Okay, so then this guy, let's see how it's behaving lately. Right, giving it a wee bit of a squidge as well. So, come on, behave, yay. So, see what I mean? It's similar in terms of it's the cloudy kind of colour. Most silicone primers are though, to be honest. Unless it's like a tinted one for correction. Yeah, this definitely feels a little bit thinner than the peach one. But we'll see whether that makes any difference at all. Okay. Shouldn't have done that, I just slightly mixed, but okay. So, foundation wise, I'll just stick with the Revolution one. Let's just be all matchy. So, get a wee squidge of that out. Grab my mirror and my brush. So let's start with the peachy side. Which, actually, I'm just going to zoom you in quickly because I've just noticed something. I feel like the pores on the peachy side look a little bit smoother. You can tell me if I'm imagining it, but I think this looks a little bit smoother than this one. So maybe that's a plus side for the slightly thicker formula. We will see. Because I mean, if it all looks absolutely the same once the makeup's on, then it's kind of, you know, not really going to make a difference in your choice. So, foundation's going on nice and smoothly. Still not making it completely grab on my nose. Does anybody else have this problem that your nose is just like, I don't know, like a nightmare? Foundation slide. Okay. I might put way too much on my forehead there, so I might be moving on to the other side. I mean, in terms of packaging, I actually prefer the peach one because it's got the flip lid, which is just kind of easier to, like, you know, open and close when you're kind of juggling things about when you're doing your makeup. Especially, like, I used to, like, squeeze you know, well, actually no, for foundation I squeeze onto a palette now, but for primers and things, I squeeze that out onto my fingers, so, you know, I've effectively got one clean hand at the point where I need to be closing the tube, so that lid is better for that. I feel like I'm getting a little bit more coverage on the peachy side, which again might be down to the whole being thicker. So I'll zoom you in for a wee look. I mean, it could always just be that I've picked up more foundation on that side, but I think this looks better just now. So I'll grab a tiny bit more foundation just to kind of even this out, and I'm going to do my concealer. It shouldn't really have any effect on the concealer because, you know, the foundation's now in the way, but we will double check just in case. Okay, so that's looking pretty much even now. Cool. So, under eye corrector, let's go with the Primark. Nice generous amount. I've not had enough sleep this week because I've been trying to get organised, which is my least favourite thing in the world to do. So, and then in the middle of getting organised, right, as if I don't have enough to do with the organising and the tidying, and I'm trying to gut my flat out, and then the other morning I swear I got up from here and I caught my foot on the cable from my ring light and I yanked it right off of, you know, my beauty area desk table thing, and yeah, it pulled like tons of stuff off of this, and I got to stand and clean that up. So yay me, yay being graceful. And then I fell down steps later as well, and yeah, my bad. So yeah, it's been a chaos week. So extra under eye concealers. But it's Friday. And yes, that is how last minute I'm filming this video, because of the previously mentioned chaos week. So yeah. So yeah, I don't feel like this is making any difference with the concealer and things. So I am going to vanish for just now, and do finish up the rest of my face powder and things, and then come back. But if you want to do your check-in from now, it is 2 minutes past 8. So I'll see you when I am powdered and things. Right, so finished face, and I need to go and dry my hair. It is 8:15. I don't think either side looks particularly different just now, but, you know, we will see what happens throughout the day. Right, lunchtime check-in. So at the moment, it is 20 to 1, so we're looking pretty identical, to be honest with you, and I'd say both sides are pretty good. I'm going to touch up just a tiny bit because I've lost some coverage around my nose, because you may be able to hear I'm a little blocked up right now. And yeah, I think I'll powder down a tiny bit, but it's not drastic on either side. So it's just vanity. And actually, doing a bit extra under the eyes as well. Again, vanity. Having a good day at work so far though. Always nice when that happens. Yep. See, I'm not adding any more powder to my brush, I'm just dabbing with the excesses on it from earlier. So I'd say that's us back to being pretty darn matte. So wear-wise with the foundation, like I said, it's even on both sides. These are the same price, they are the same manufacturer. The ingredients are, there's slightly more ingredients in this one than in this one. So first ingredient for both, dimethicone. Second ingredient in both is a dimethicone, vinyl dimethicone polymer. Third ingredient, silica, both. Fourth ingredient, phenoxyethanol in both. Fifth ingredient, tocopherol acetate. And then that's this one done. So then this one also has something called ascorbyl palmitate, the fragrance, benzyl alcohol, linalool, which I believe is like something with moisturising qualities, I might be wrong though, and hexyl cinnamyl. So just a couple of extra ingredients in that one, but really similar formulation. And you get slightly less in this one though, just a tiny bit, just 1 milliliter less. So we'll see if there's any differences as we move further through the day. Right, I'm back and wearing completely different makeup. So it is a different day. Just stuff came up that I hadn't thought through that meant that filming this all in one day was not a good idea. I had a lot going on that just meant I couldn't sit down and film. Anyway, that being said, I have now done a very thorough wear test of these two. I have now also tried them with a different foundation as well, just to kind of see. And I've still got the peachy one and the other one on, you know, half and half, and I've done that a couple of times. And to be honest with you, no difference. Okay, like the whole thing where I thought there was like more coverage going on with this side, I think it might have just been that I'd put more foundation on my brush because I haven't noticed any other application since then, and I've done this like 4 more times since. So basically I think there's very little difference between each of these. It's really going to be personal preference. Pros for this one, you know, you get more bang for your buck, but it's not a huge amount more, just a little bit. So there's that. Cons, this one does separate sometimes, which is quite irritating. And also I'm not a huge fan of the whole screw on and off lid. It's not the quickest and most convenient, but at the same time it's not impossible to sit and screw and unscrew a lid, you know? So this guy, cons, okay, yeah, it costs a tiny bit more. Tiny. For me, pros, I actually like the smell. I love the smell of this, and I quite like the, you know, the easy to open and shut lid, you know, because by the time you squeeze, and that's so much easier to do than, like, you know, you do this one and you're holding it and then you're squeezing it, and then if it's separated and it's really runny, it's just not, you know, friendly while you're sitting trying to like balance it in the back of your hand. It's just easier. So really it's going to come down to personal preference. In general, I do see myself going for this one a little bit more. The price difference is so small that I'm not going to worry about it, and I like the fact that this doesn't separate in the tube. I'm not meaning on my skin, I do literally mean in the tube. This guy separates. So both of these I still think are great primers. Choose whichever one. If one's out of stock, grab the other one. You'll get just as good a wear out of your foundation, basically. So if you have any questions about either of these, leave them down below and I will get back to you. And I'm loving how my hair is looking today because the colour is looking extra bright on the ends, and I actually bothered to like straighten it and stuff. I haven't straightened it in ages. Anyway, side note, not really important. So yeah, I will see you guys soon, and I hope you have an awesome weekend lined up. Bye!